Thanks so much for joining me on the WSAZ Plus Desk. Good morning, everyone. I'm Shannon Litton. It is Wednesday, January the 14th, and of course, we are starting the day kind of in the 50s there. Of course, some rainy spots here and there, and of course, we're going to be dealing with snow overnight later today. But we'll get into the weather in just a bit. I wanted to come onto the WSAZ Plus Desk to sort of talk to you about the headlines of the day. Primarily today, one of the stories we're following is the fact that West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey is going to be delivering his second State of the State address. That's happening tonight at 7 o'clock. This is video from his State of the State last year. Now, among the things he is expected to highlight are budget priorities and his proposal to lower the state's income tax, which he says he believes can be accomplished without cutting funding to essential services. The governor is set to give that address at 7 o'clock tonight, and we will be covering that State of the State address, of course, but we will also be bringing it to you on WSAZ.com as well as the WSAZ app. And we will also be, of course, bringing it to you here on WSAZ Plus. So no matter how you get your news, we'll be able to bring that address to you again on WSAZ.com, through the WSAZ app on your phone, and on WSAZ Plus on your streaming TV. In other news this morning, we're also learning Chris Miller is going to be running for state senate this year. Now, Miller has ran for office in West Virginia before, but he will be running this time for a state senate campaign. He is aiming to represent District 5. That covers Huntington and surrounding areas in Cabell and Wayne County. Now, his dad, H.D. Miller, founded the Dutch Miller dealership in 1961. His mother is Carol Miller, and she's a U.S. Congresswoman for West Virginia. Now, he says that government should be ran like a business. As I mentioned earlier, back in 2024, during the Republican primary for governorship, Miller lost in third place to now Governor Patrick Morrisey. But Miller is the only person so far who has filed for to run in District 5. The seat is currently being held by the Senate Minority Leader, who is the Democrat Mike Wolfel. So, of course, that's another story we'll be following for you throughout our newscast today. Now, we're also learning of other news. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is actually going to be in our area later today, and that is going to be for a ribbon cutting over at Ashland Community and Technical College. Now, Beshear is going to be joining Kentucky Community and Technical College system leaders to cut the ribbon on a new state-of-the-art transportation training building that's located at ACTC's Technology Drive campus. This is apparently a $13 million project primarily funded by the state, but it'll be the new home that is, to ACTC's automotive technology, diesel technology, commercial driver's license, and line worker programs. So that is definitely something also we will be covering for you later in our newscast as well. Again, he will be in Ashland later today for that ribbon cutting at ACTC's campus. So definitely something that we will be bringing to you later today. Now, meanwhile, we are learning of 3 people who have now been arrested, and they're being accused in drug trafficking charges. I want to bring up their mugshots for you so you can see them yourself. These 3 people, Daniel Kahn, Rachel Bass, and Willie Green, have now been arrested for drug charges and for stealing a vehicle. Now, this all happened the Monday before Christmas, according to Carter County deputies. They tell us they were responding to calls for a stolen vehicle along State Highway 174. Now, when deputies found that vehicle, they also found around 172 grams of fentanyl and meth, and they say because of this investigation, they ended up arresting the 3 people you're seeing on your screen: Daniel Kahn, Rachel Bass, and Willie Green. So we'll definitely try to get you an update on that investigation as well. But like I mentioned at the beginning of our newscast here on WSAZ Plus, we are starting the day a little bit rainy. We did check in with some of our traffic cameras earlier today, and you could kind of see some of the roads being wet at the very least, a little bit of that nuisance rain to say the least. But your commute this evening might be looking a little bit different because we are expecting some snow later today. And then we're also going to be seeing some snow squalls later throughout the week. For more on that, I want to turn now to meteorologist Dylan Goday for the latest.
First Alert meteorologist Dylan Goday here on this First Alert Weather Day with a look at 3 things you need to know weather-wise. We've got rain showers that are going to be moving in, light to maybe briefly moderate rain, so it's not going to amount to a whole lot, but that'll be moving in during your morning hours. We will change over, though, to a mix likely later this afternoon and into the early evening before switching over to all snow late. If you're worried about accumulation during your afternoon commute, that's not likely. It's going to be late this evening and in the overnight that we would see any accumulation at all, which again is mainly going to be to the east of Charleston. Most of our area is just going to be seeing snow squalls overnight and into the early morning hours. We continue to keep this wintry weather pattern around into the weekend. So looking at your first weather day again for the snow squalls, you can see them really area wide, but they're going to be pretty isolated. We just don't know where exactly those bands will be forming quite yet. So make sure you're tuned in tomorrow morning. We'll be tracking that radar live all morning long, or you can download the WSAZ weather app and do the same thing there. Accumulating snow most likely widespread to the east of Charleston. So we're talking 1 to 2 inches far eastern Kanawha County as you climb in elevation, as you head up towards the mountains of West Virginia, more than that. But low visibility and slick travel. Here's a look at Futurecast when we're going to start to see that transition. And we're starting to see some mixing taking place here at 6 o'clock, but look at our temperatures. We're above freezing. It's not until you get closer to 8, 9 o'clock that these temperatures then get below freezing, and you'll start to see these bands trying to form. This is what Futurecast is showing up towards Cincinnati. This may stretch a little bit further south and east than that. You may get a couple bands trying to form here along I-77 between Parkersburg and Charleston as well. Those need to be watched because this is where we'll see that localized accumulation. We've already seen that a couple times so far this season where not everyone's waking up to snow, but those that are stuck with an inch or two underneath of those squalls. So that'll of course need to be something that we are watching. This is a look at my snowfall forecast here. Again, Charleston's a trace to 1 inch, but that lighter shade of, the slightly darker shade of blue for eastern Kanawha County, that's around 1 to 2 inches over towards Summersville, same deal for you. But then as you climb in elevation, that's where we're going to start to get closer to that 2 to 4 inches and 3 to 6 as you head towards the higher ridge tops. I want to show you that run of Futurecast that we just showed you in terms of what that looks like when you account for the accumulation. And it's got the very similar to picture here. Here's one of these bands that would be forming here, another one of the bands here that may only produce a half an inch to an inch worth of snow, but still could be enough to cause some slick spots. And then it's also going to be cold. Even if you're not waking up to snow tomorrow, look at our wind chills. Richwood could be below 0, low single digits for some areas with that breeze and that cold air definitely in place Thursday, and that continues even into Friday morning. Certainly need to be bundled up. We're not done with these snow chances because here's a look at Sunday and into Monday, another quick hitting chance there. But as I step this a little bit backward, on Saturday you could be dealing with something very similar as well to that as terms of the snow squalls that will be moving on in. And then the coldest air that we've had in a while will be pushing in Monday, that's MLK Day, into Tuesday morning. Look at that. Could be close to the single digits. That's actual air temperature, not even accounting for the wind chill by next Tuesday morning. So more first weather days on board for Saturday, those snow squalls. Monday, those morning snow squalls will be possible, and then that cold, frigid air moves in by Tuesday. Meteorologist Nicholas Snyder will be in at midday today with another update for you. Make sure you are staying with the First Alert Weather team for more updates.
All right, Dylan, thanks so much. 4 First Alert weather days, including today, that we will be dealing with on and off. So definitely something you want to keep in mind. And, of course, you want to make sure you've got the WSAZ weather app to stay up to date with the very latest as well. And we will be bringing you updates, of course, on the weather and things that are going on in your community here on WSAZ Plus, as well as our later newscasts, and of course always on the WSAZ app as well. So be sure to stick around, and we will be joining Studio 3 in progress here in just about 20 minutes, so you can stay here on WSAZ Plus. But remember, your news is always on your smartphone. You can download the WSAZ app. It's free for both Apple and Android. Thanks so much for joining us.